Hey, and thanks for watching our latest pad video. So we're making this video for our client. This is vehicle specific. This is a 2010 BMW 328i. So for the BMW gurus out there, it's a E90 body with the N52K engine. Just wanted to show some oil leaks that we found on the engine. We've already discussed with our client some other services that are needed, and we're going to begin. But let's start here. All right, so we have an oil leak here that we've notified our client of. You may be able to see the residual. This is the oil pan. All right, here's the steering rack and all your steering lines or hoses. This is the electric water pump. Well, this valve or this oil pan gasket right here is leaking, and it happens on every single one of them. If you own a BMW with this engine, it is guaranteed. If it's not leaking now, it will be. So you can see as this car's driven down the road, wind blows back. Here's another good camera angle. Oil, residual oil, all down the seam where the block meets the oil pan, or upper portion of the oil pan. This is the lower portion. Right here, blows back, runs down, drips. So the fix for it is to remove the oil pan and replace the gasket. So these are also aluminum bolts. Every one of these bolts that fasten the oil pan, those will be replaced with new bolts and torqued to specifications. All right, so you can see the residual oil on these lines, this stabilizer bar and these lines here. We got the pan down below the transmission. We've already performed the transmission service. We dropped the pan, dropped the filter, replaced the filter seal, the little seal ring that goes inside. We got a new pan gasket, put the pan back up, torqued all the bolts, 10 Newton meters. We're gonna put the pan back up, but that transmission's already been serviced, it's already been filled. So that's a done deal right now. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you some suspension components, or a suspension component that's failed on this car. This is a lower control arm. And I want to say BMW may even call it a strut arm. But this lower control arm is one on either side. These bushings always fail, and they have so failed on this car as well. Here's the one on the driver's side. So we'll disconnect it here at the spindle, disconnect it here, maneuver it out of there, replace it with a new one. It's more so felt when first hitting the brake, the initial touch or press on the brake pedal, this bushing moves. You can feel it in the steering wheel very heavily. So we're going to replace these control arms, very common as well on these cars. So if you haven't replaced them and you own one of these cars, be ready to do so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these pans back up. You can see this is what's leaked down at this point onto the pan that sits directly under the engine. So fortunately that hadn't dripped down on the driveway. So I'll put these pans back up. We'll lower the car and I'll show you from the top side. All right, so now we got the car down. Something I failed to mention on this car is kind of a neat little, I guess, thought is this car is equipped with a GM transmission. So I don't know how that marriage took place, but if you know why these cars come with a GM transmission, place your ideas in the comments and let us know. GM's 6 series transmission in this car. Strange, but that's what it's got. Anyway, let's get back to the oil leaks. All right, so we also want to quote the client a oil filter. This is where your oil filter is housed. This is the oil filter housing. Well, this seal always leaks right here. Get my pointer. Right here, that seal right there always leaks. So we'll have to replace that seal as well. You can see down in front on the front side of the engine here, as a result of leaking oil filter housing and valve cover. So your valve cover is a contributor, oil filter housing is a contributor of the oil leaks, and the oil pan. Now the valve cover sits under here, under this trim panel. So we'll remove the cowling, winch wiper blades, wiper arms, cowling, this cover. The valve cover sits under here. We'll loosen the intake manifold, remove the oil filter cooler or housing, replace that, and of course the pan gasket. So anyway, this is a oil leak that, like I said, happens on every one of them. We offer the repair as a whole, because we know if we complete one repair or one oil leak, the next one or the third one is right behind it. All right, so we found a couple more issues that are video worthy for our client on this BMW. We want to make him aware of. So I'm going to get in the seat of the car, and we're going to video it. It may be hard to catch on video, but you'll be able to see those failing front control arms. When I roll forward and hit the brake pedal, this front tire will shift. It'll be very quick, very brief, but you'll actually be able to see, or hopefully on video see, the movement of this tire, front to back. So it's very quick, very brief. Something else we also noticed is during that same movement, that slow, hard braking movement, there's a loud rattle back here on this left rear. So we're going to try to get that on video and audio. We're going to put this car back on the lift, raise it up, and then show you exactly what's going on with that. All right, I'm going to roll forward. We'll see if we can catch this front tire movement. I'm also going to continue to roll forward, and you'll hear that left rear rattling. Now we're going to put this car on the lift, and we'll see exactly what's going on. Okay, viewers, we're almost done. This is the last bit. So we got the car up in the air. We want to show you the noise that we were hearing from the left rear wheel. All right, so here's the lower control arm. I like to call these a trailing arm. But if you notice, this bolt that comes through connects this trailing arm to the rear spindle or hub assembly. Here's the nut. And that's what we're hearing. When we hit the brake and there's all this movement. So obviously a lot rattling back here when you got the momentum of the entire car. But that bolt's just completely loose. Something else we notice is how the bolt comes in from the back side, nut on this side. And if you look on the passenger side, the bolt goes in from this direction, nut is on the other side. So they're opposing. At some point, you know, clearly this bolt has been removed and put back in for whatever reason, or repairs, I don't know. So yeah, we're going to tighten this up for the customer. I don't believe there was any damage done. But anyway, you can see we got a wrench on it. So we're going to tighten that up for them, and hopefully that'll be the end of that. But thanks for watching the video. I hope this one was helpful, and keep watching those videos that we put out. Request those notifications and subscribe if you will. Thanks. See you next time.